Hello and welcome to From Digital to D&D. For those of you unaware, this series sees a character from fiction receive a stat block for you to use in your games of D&D along with ways to use them. Naturally, any character that features in this series belongs to its respective owners. The true name of this being is known only to themselves, but they adorn many titles. The Oncoming Storm, the Butcher of Skull Moon, the Imp of the Pandorica, the Beast of Trenzalore, the Timeless Child, but most know them as the Doctor.
Hello, I'm the Doctor.
The Time Lord, known as the Doctor, is a paradoxical mystery. Their origin is long and complicated, spanning across all of time and space. As it is believed, the Doctor is from the planet Gallifrey, home of the Time Lords. This race, whilst resembling humans, are far beyond them. As their title states, they are Lords of Time, with a mastery over time and space few can rival. Within this society, the Doctor became a renegade. Stealing a time machine known as the TARDIS, the Doctor took to the stars with one mission: to see the universe. Ever since that day, countless planets and civilizations have found a blue police box show up out of nowhere, and from it emerge the Doctor. Be it fortune or fate, those who stand for all that is wrong have had their worlds torn asunder a single day, when the madman in a box arrived. For creatures of darkness, there is no being they fear more than the Doctor. Whole armies have turned in terror at the mention of their name. But to the innocent, the kind, and the good, the Doctor is a guardian. Though they may favour Earth, no world is below the Doctor's notice, and should a cry for help be heard, they will always come running. Not even time can bring the Time Lord low, as the miracle of the Time Lords means the Doctor is forever. As a Time Lord, the Doctor appears as a human, but their insides are completely alien. Notable differences include 2 hearts, 3 brainstems, and other biological marvels. The species are psionic, able to tap into the minds of others they touch and read their memories. The Doctor is a genius when compared to a human, able to solve complex matters in seconds that would take supercomputers hours. They may be considered less intelligent by Time Lord standards, but with time, a wisdom has come which elevates the Doctor to a new level of intellect. There are few things the Doctor can't comprehend, and their problem-solving skills are unmatched, though sometimes their genius fuels their ego. And with the aid of their sonic screwdriver, the Doctor can interface with most forms of technology and scan almost everything. When partnered with the psychic paper, a card capable of displaying what the Doctor wants, they can bluff into almost any scenario. But what makes all Time Lords special is their innate connection to the time vortex, an incomparable swirling storm of time. Thanks to this connection, the Doctor is in tune with time and space itself, whilst also being resistant to temporal alterations. To put it simply, killing a younger version of the Doctor won't instantly destroy older versions. But the Doctor is not invincible. They can die, but even this is not simple. Be it disease, wound, or time, if the Doctor's life is coming to an end, the miracle of the Time Lords manifests. Regeneration. This process rejuvenates the Doctor's body, healing it to peak condition no matter the injury. Their body is bathed in golden light before it explodes outwards, a maelstrom of regeneration pouring out. When the process is done, the Doctor is reborn with a new body. The mind and memories of what came before all remain. It is still the Doctor, but their appearance and mannerisms change. Normal Time Lords can only undergo this process 12 times, 13 bodies, but the Doctor has broken this limit. The reason for this can vary depending upon interpretation. One explanation is that the Time Lords can grant more regenerations and did so during the Doctor's 11th hour. But according to the Master, the Doctor's greatest rival, they are actually a being known as the Timeless Child. the originator of regeneration, of whom all other Time Lords came from. It is unknown which is true, if either of them are, but what is certain is that the Doctor has regenerated more than 12 times and seems to have no limit. As a result, the Doctor is considered an immortal being by many, for death cannot claim them, and they have existed since time began. An unlimited time span and access to a time machine will do that. Speaking of time machines, the Doctor is incomplete without their most faithful companion. The TARDIS is one of the most marvellous machines in existence. She is capable of travelling anywhere and anywhen. And I say she as the TARDIS is alive. She exists in a different state of being, as she can see all points of time. The Doctor and the TARDIS are inseparable, both needing each other to survive. Other companions may come and go, but when another world has been saved, the TARDIS is always waiting to whisk her thief away to the next adventure. Making a stat sheet for the Doctor is tricky, as their usual aversion to direct violence doesn't translate easily into D&D. I'll get into this in the next section, but the Doctor is built more for special social interactions and clever thinking rather than straight up fighting. Think Tucker's kobolds. But without further ado, let's get into the sheet. The Doctor's physical stats are better than the average person, but their mental stats are where the real power lies. With a whopping 27 intelligence, few people are going to be able to outsmart the Doctor. And they can add their intelligence to their armour class. The Doctor isn't known for wearing armour, but they are tricky to hit by being so nimble and quick to react. And social encounters will be a breeze with a myriad of skill proficiencies, with up to a plus 14 in some skills. As they say, with age comes wisdom. Time and time again, the Doctor has shown an awareness of their surroundings that can only best be described as blind sight. They can feel the presence of someone under the effect of invisibility. I do want to mention the Doctor's CR, which sits at 8. Given their exploits and the foes they've overcome, CR 8 may seem very low, but remember this. A CR 1/8 Noble can be more dangerous than a CR 30 Tarrasque. There are some Time Lord traits the Doctor can benefit from, which include their binary vascular system. Thanks to the Doctor's 2 hearts, effects like Power Word Kill can't kill them instantly. Rather, it gives them 3 levels of exhaustion. Remember, 6 can kill you though. Another Time Lord trait is the respiratory bypass system, which lets the Doctor survive without air for much longer and makes them resistant to toxins. The last Time Lord trait is temporal awareness. Simply put, the Doctor is aware when someone messes with time and works out when they are. But it's time to mention the Doctor's offensive options. The Doctor doesn't use a set weapon beyond words, but they are very good at using anything as a makeshift weapon. By using anything the Doctor can get their hands on, they can make an improvised strike. Or a clean punch can also count. But the real power of the Doctor is that you never expect their master stroke, which in combat takes the form of tactical strike. This trait functions like sneak attack and can trigger once per turn, dealing an extra 8d10 damage. But how does the Doctor gain an advantage over their enemy? The most direct method is by using Fast Talk, which is a bonus action. The Doctor is at their most dangerous when they're talking. They may be trying to persuade a creature to stop attacking, trick them into making a mistake, or simply distract them. But when the Doctor begins a speech, they have a plan in motion. Fast Talk forces every creature that can hear the Doctor, regardless of distance, to make a wisdom save, becoming charmed on a failure. As a reminder, a charmed creature can't target the Doctor with harmful effects, and gives the Doctor advantage on ability checks during social interactions. Fast Talk also gives the Doctor advantage on attack rolls against the creature, and advantage on all ability checks made against them, such as stealth, sleight of hand, deception, etc. But sometimes it's best to know your enemy. And with the scan feature of the sonic screwdriver, the Doctor can cast Identify as an action and only needs somatic components. However, the spell has a range of 60 feet, and the Doctor can target a creature instead of an object. If they do, they learn the creature's species, creature type, and any resistances, immunities, or vulnerabilities it has. With a quick scan, the Doctor can learn critical info and react accordingly. But the sonic screwdriver has another use, casting knock without spell components. This version of the spell only emits a sound out to 10 feet, but has no effect on mechanisms made of wood, or that are deadlock sealed. Finally, the Psychic Link action lets the Doctor cast Detect Thoughts without spell components, but the Doctor has to be touching another creature to maintain the spell. Whilst the spell is active, they can replicate the effects of Modify Memory at 9th level. By replicate, I mean the Doctor isn't casting the spell, but enacts the same effects. Now, as a traveller, the Doctor needs a way into more social circles. And as a bonus action, the Doctor can use the Psychic Paper to replicate the effects of illusory script, displaying anything they can think of on the paper. But we finally come to the big one, the Doctor's special reaction, Regenerate. I've made a video previously about how this spell works, so check it out if you want the finer details or to add it to your own characters. But for the Doctor, they can cast it at 9th level without spell components. To summarise, the Doctor undergoes the transformation to become the next incarnation, saving themselves from death. But before we wrap up, we need to talk about the Doctor's lair, the TARDIS. Unlike a normal lair, the TARDIS is alive and she is in control of herself. But if her thief falls under threat whilst inside her walls, she may take lair actions. These range from tremors and illusions to more complex actions that give the Doctor advantage on all attack rolls for the round, or give everyone the effect of the Sanctuary spell, meaning nobody can readily hit each other. She can alter her layout at will to dazzle or confuse. But whilst the Doctor is in the primary console room, he can begin to pilot the TARDIS. This takes the form of replicating the effects of Dream of the Blue Veil, Plane Shift, or Teleport. As these effects are replicated, the TARDIS can bring along or leave behind any creatures of her choice inside of her. On the outside, the TARDIS affects the world around it. Some make her much harder to see to the unaware eye, and others let her answer the call of her thief, the Doctor. Should the Doctor finally perish, TARDIS will join them in time. If the Doctor dies, the TARDIS dies after 2d6 years. It is impossible to separate the Doctor from the TARDIS, and together they have saved countless worlds. And the first thing you will notice about the Doctor is that they are unarmed. It may also be the last. We've got over 60 years of Doctor Who to see how the Time Lord operates, and putting the Doctor into your game is easier than you would think. The TARDIS has travelled to other realities all the time. Your setting is not beyond its reach. But bringing the Doctor means bringing in time travel, so be careful on how you use them, or be prepared to reskin them. But as for using the Doctor, they are an unassuming figure who encounters the party by chance. The only thing to note is that the Doctor is usually not far away from danger, so trouble is likely at hand if the Doctor is around. Think about how so many companions have met the Doctor. A normal life, a normal day, until a stranger practically, or sometimes literally, drops from the sky and introduces a whole new universe of adventure. Perhaps near the start of the campaign, the party cross paths with the Doctor and are invited to join them, the whole campaign being an adventure across time and space. Though this path is tricky to put into D&D, and is why Doctor Who has its own TTRPG system. So let's think about a setting where the Doctor has visited at least once before. As shown during the 11th Doctor's time, the Doctor's name carries unmatched weight, all civilizations seeing them as an invincible warrior. Creatures of darkness turn in terror at the mention of their name. Allow me to weave a tale of what may be. Legends within the city tell tales of a lone person who stood against a terrible threat that would have consumed the land. A tide of darkness that was repelled by one beacon of light. The finer details are lost to time, but the story lingers on. The party are busy looking into a series of disappearances across the city. Clues have led them to an old warehouse where they find a hidden tunnel that travels deep underground. Inside is an alien structure unlike anything they've seen before. The creatures begin to awaken and are hostile to the party, citing familiarity with them. These aliens are mighty and far too strong for the party. All seems lost until a piercing sound makes the creatures recoil, and a humanoid grabs the party in the chaos, helping them escape. Finally escaping the chamber, the party are rocked by an explosion as the structure detonates. As the dust settles, the figure introduces themselves as the Doctor and asks for the party's help. They explain that the creatures were the tide of darkness the legends speak of, specifically a splinter of them, and that other pods are starting to wake up. The Doctor needs help in finding and destroying these pods before the aliens awaken and kill everything. As the adventure continues, the party discover lost texts that share the date of when the aliens first arrived. With this information, the Doctor reveals the TARDIS and proposes to travel to the time of the first arrival and see where each pod lands. But as the party travels through time, something goes wrong and the TARDIS crashes. The party have travelled back in time, but they're early. It becomes clear the party have become players in the legend they grew up on and now must enact history. Time can be rewritten, so the party must act carefully. During the final battle, the party infiltrates a pod before it settles and realise they're in the same pod that blows up in the future. The party are the ones who set it to crash. In the end, the day is saved and the party are escorted back home by the Doctor. But they realise the legend has changed. Instead of a lone figure, it speaks of a group that stood against the darkness. A bit wibbly wobbly timey-wimey, but hey, that's Doctor Who for you. You can have any adventure you want with the Doctor, and they can make a terrifying foe if you know their exploits. Just keep in mind that the Doctor is a master of words and strategy. Cunning is their greatest weapon, and their compassion is their ultimate strength. And if you want to have a more morally dubious Doctor, look at when 10 becomes the Time Lord victorious. Many don't see it, but the Doctor does have a darkness in their heart. They have seen realities burn and were the winner of the Time War, so pray the party don't end up on their bad side. But with that, we've reached the end of today's video. Before you head off, I'd like to thank you for watching, and I hope you managed to get something out of this. If you feel like helping out, you can become a patron using the link in the description. The stat block for the Doctor is available on D&D Beyond for free, and the link to it is in the description. I hope you all have a great day, and may your dice roll favourably. Goodbye for now.